Welcome to State Scoop TV. I'm Jake Williams. We're here today with John MacMillan, the CIO of the state of Pennsylvania, my home state. Thanks for being here, John. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
So, John, we're here at the NASCIO Midyear Conference in Crystal City, Virginia. How are you trying to reimagine the way that Pennsylvania does business digitally?
So some of the things that we're interested in accomplishing involve changing how citizens consume online services. But that starts with some fundamental changes in the way our existing services are provided. One of the key elements is a common identity and access management framework. So we're launching that initiative later this year. We've built an environment, we have a solution, and there are about 97 applications that we'll change and have ready by the end of June. Now, some of the things we're also trying to change as a result of that identity and access management is the ability to integrate applications in the real world. So for example, let's say that you're a young entrepreneur seeking to establish a business in Pennsylvania. Today, the way you have to do that is you have to figure out which state agencies you have to work with. Now we have an Open for Business portal, but it traverses a number of agencies and it's a little complex. By putting a common identity and access management framework in place, you'll be able to move seamlessly from agency to agency and consume those services without ever knowing you're switching agencies. So that's one of the things that we're working on. Now, we're also working on standard templates, common look and feel, lots of great things going on in PA.
And what steps are you taking to connect your team digitally, regardless of the device that they're using?
So we've got a framework primarily based on security that allows our employees and eventually citizens to be able to use the device of their choice. So for example, for our employees, we use a mobile device management solution that protects even cell phone users from, well, let's just say making bad decisions. That allows us to potentially wipe a device remotely if the device was lost or stolen. And for citizens, again, using common look and feel, common application approach, citizens are going to be able to experience that set of online services very much as, well, let's use an online retailer example. So instead of being able to consume a service individually, you'll be able to pull down a set of services and the environment will now understand who you are, what services you consume, and be able to be much more proactive in how those are presented.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And you know, you mentioned cybersecurity at the top there about how you're integrating that into that mobile effort. How are you including cybersecurity in your discussion across the board on how to make your digital workforce more efficient?
So this is, again, part of the identity and access management. We're also including things like multi-factor authentication. So not all data needs higher levels of protection, but certain types of data do. Health information, for example, regulated by HIPAA. Tax information, regulated by FTI. Where those controls need to be in place, we are implementing them. So we're using a number of techniques. We try to be careful with exactly what our solutions are so that it'll be sort of like leaving your keys in your car. We're trying to avoid that scenario as well. But still building a common security framework and being able to integrate that with our application portfolio and our device management environment.
That's great.
Across a number of endpoints.
Wow. And from a network perspective, you mentioned endpoints. You talked about all those areas, you know, connecting to the network. What are you doing from a network perspective to keep your employees connected, secure, and productive?
So we use a number of technologies. Virtual private networks is an example. And when you're working remotely, we use that technology to allow any device that has the endpoint agent on it to connect to our network. That allows us to implement our multi-factor controls to make sure we know who's on our network and whether or not they're authorized to be there.
And last question here, you know, talking about vision going forward, you and I have talked about your vision, we've talked about your strategy moving forward.
Yes.
What does your vision look like for the way your team operates and delivers services to constituents going forward?
So look, we've got a big initiative underway in Pennsylvania. It was announced with the governor's budget in early February. We are transforming our IT organization. It's a big initiative, multi-year. So we are embracing the idea that in order to recruit and retain talent, we also have to change the way we operate. I gave you some examples, but ultimately, people make IT happen, and we have to create an environment where we're going to attract and continue to employ the very best talent.
Absolutely.
Okay?
That's great. John, thanks for being with us today.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. For more about what John's doing in Pennsylvania, check out statescoop.com and subscribe to the Daily Scoop newsletter in your email inbox every single morning. I'm Jake Williams, Statescoop's Manager of Strategic Initiatives, here with John MacMillan, the CIO of Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching.